At the end of yesterday's episode, I had concluded that this piece of blue tack was just a little bit too heavy here. In fact, it's a lot too heavy. I'm going to cut it down to maybe 25% of its volume and to see if that's going to be enough just to hold this. We just have it so that this line here will be tight, and I believe then that after the blue tack that is on there is removed, this is going to want to, this antenna here is going to want to sort of spring back, and it's going to hold this line here even more straight. At least that's my thinking. So now even my very sensitive little scale won't weigh these. It'll weigh down to 1/10 of a gram. And if I remember right, that when this was together, it was less than 1/10 of a gram. Anyway, these two pieces used to be together, and now we're down to probably maybe 25% of it. Would 4 of these make up all of that together? Yeah, I'm guessing about 25%. Anyway, let's just give it a try here and see how it works out. You know, that's almost perfect. I think that if we put a little bit of CA medium right there, that should be good. Maybe it could go just a little bit more this way. I think it's supposed to be halfway in between the ends there. You know what? It's not perfect. Reason being is because we're using a lighter weight, the top double antenna is almost perfectly flat. Well, not perfectly, but it's flatter. And the line that is draping over is now further this way towards us, which means that this line here now, instead of going on the other side of this one, now has to be on this side of this one. I'll just make the change. I don't need to video it. Okay, I've moved this line onto this side of this line, and I don't know, it's still touching, and I have concluded that a straight line from down here to midpoint right here passes directly through where this line is. It's kind of like a mid-air collision. You know, how could two airplanes be in the exact same spot in the great big sky at the exact same time? Murphy's Law. I'll have to think about this. Now I am noticing that if I have it, you know, further up like this, then it's not touching this line. There's about 1 millimeter in between here. Maybe I could sort of split the difference. How would it be like that? Okay, right there it's not touching. It looks like it is. Depending on your perspective, it looks like they're touching, but there is a slight separation there, about maybe a millimeter. Let's go a little bit more here. I just don't want them to be touching, that's all. Okay, it's not touching. Go a little bit more. Well, right there it's almost touching. I know I do believe that this is supposed to be halfway in between the two, but okay, I've got this one back at the midpoint now. These are just barely touching each other. On a real ship that would never happen. But you know what? I won't tell if you don't tell. I'm just going to go ahead and glue it on there. Clearly I put on the macro lens here, and I'm just wondering, should I put the glue on maybe from the side or from the top? Obviously there's no glue on the applicator yet. Should I put on the super macro? Okay, try not to bump anything here. Now you only get one chance at this. Now I have just eyeballed this. I think this is about the same height as this right here. And I haven't tried this yet. And I know some of you are thinking, well, the easy line is going to catch and break, but you want to remember that the, see, I'm going to have to lower it just a little here. Okay, I just want to make sure no hard plastic parts are going to catch on anything. It doesn't matter if the easy line catches on it, because like I keep telling you, it stretches something unbelievably. Where I could have a problem would be like, let's say one of these lines in the back was to catch on a sliver on this wood, and then I was to pull it away later and not notice that it was caught. Well, it'll rip it off. Now what we're trying to do here, and I think you can see it happening, is I'm trying to get this connection that we just glued here right up against this, so we can cut it off much the same way we did before. Now you can see this, it looks like it's really tight, but it's actually just barely touching there. It's very little pressure at all. This would actually probably pull away out to here if I wanted to, but I'm not going to take a chance. Now, maybe if this was to go, maybe right now I should be putting the macro lens on so that you can see what's going on here. Now, I may not keep the camera at this same angle when I do the cutting, but what I was trying to do, maybe I should be using my tweezers here. Okay, I wanted to put this, grab a little lower, closer to the weight. Okay, I wanted to put this way over in the back and just sort of hang it down like that. Now, you'll notice that the connection here, because this easy line was kind of draped over, it sort of formed like a little hook. So I don't know if I can flatten that out. This connection will have become brittle now, so I do have to be careful. I don't think I could break the easy line, but what I could do is I could actually end up having to reglue it, which, wouldn't be too big a deal. But okay, I'm going to reposition everything, and it's actually in a pretty good spot. Maybe I'll see what happens if I move the ship a little bit further away and see if we make it a little bit tighter. Okay, yeah, I think we can probably bring our cutter up at an angle like this and just get in underneath there, just above this line right here. Okay, I am not going to be using the super macro here. See if I can just... I'm going to try and find something to use as a steady rest here. Okay, I'm going to use a razor blade cutter here if I can. Just the tip of it here. I don't know, did I get enough? Should I go a little lower? I think I'd sooner have it too big than end up cutting it off. What's happening there now? Can't seem to get it. I'm going to have to use the other cutter. Okay, we got it. And it's still on. Okay, now let's carefully move it back. Watch to make sure nothing is catching. Okay, it's all clear. And this should be a real good example of why I use a white sheet of paper behind everything. You'll notice how clear the line is up against the white sheet of paper, whereas the street view, the line that covers that, you can hardly see it. Okay, I think that's pretty good. When we were looking at it before, the camera was looking up this way. And I was looking at this right here, and I looked at it for a long time. And I thought, what an unusual optical illusion that is. And then all of a sudden, I remembered these were wire. And what happened was, this got bent out. I guess when I was pulling on this or whatever, it got bent out. So that means that when we straighten these, and I'll probably do it later when I can get in there and see what I'm doing, it means that this one right here, that we were kind of concerned that it was going to look like it was chafing against this one, well, it could have been on the other side, because this whole thing is going to move over this way. Now, this is not a big deal, and I do realize that in a lot of instances when you look at this thing, it looks like a lot of the wires are crossing each other and touching, when in fact this intersection right here is actually the only one. Yeah, that's too bad, because it's going to be just too hard now. I'd either have to unhook it down here, which would be impossible almost, to get it back, that is, and the same thing up here. And right here, I was thinking, well, maybe I could disconnect this where the wire wraps around the yard arm, but it's C8 on there pretty good, if you remember. Yeah, if I could get it off there, maybe. Well, I still couldn't get it around the other side of this. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to go ahead and straighten these out, and that's just too bad I didn't notice that, an hour or so ago before I fastened this on. But too late now. Anyway, let's see if we can find out where some more of our lines are supposed to go here and try and get another one on. About half an hour's gone by now, and I've been thinking about this, and all of a sudden I started feeling really silly, because I was thinking, I can't change this line anymore because it's too hard to disconnect anywhere. And then I thought, well, why change this one? Why don't I change this one? And right up here where it's hooked onto the mast, it'd be quite easy to just sort of nip it off there, I guess you might say. Stretch it out another 1/8 of an inch and re-glue it back on after I put it on whichever side works best here, which, as it looks right now, will be take it from the back side and bring it over and put it on this side. I have straightened this other one out, by the way. Yeah, don't know why I didn't think of that. In yesterday's episode, I said something to the effect of, I'll let you know tomorrow. Well, it's tomorrow. And I was somewhat surprised and disappointed when I looked around the corner of my house this morning. It appeared at first that they hadn't even touched the carrots and cabbage. Now, when I got a little bit closer, I could see where there had been a little nibbling going on. Normally, there would be no carrots left. None. Nothing. No, not even a little scrap. Now, I'm just wondering, could it have something to do with the cat that is starting to roam the neighborhood? The last couple of days, there has been a cat roaming around. Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Maybe I'm not going to have to be buying extra carrots now. Well, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, those rabbits, they've become part of my life for about a year now. And it'd be a shame if they've become cat food. Now, mind you, I like cats too. I just wish they were more like dogs. Anyway, let's cut this off right up here as close to the top as we can. And I don't know if I can pull it off. It might start to shred, and I don't want that to happen. Then we'll just put it on the other other side of this. Which will be this side. Now you notice on the base of the ladder there's a ring. Well, it's glued to that. I don't think I can break it away from there. What I'm thinking is that maybe if I was to cut it right there, then when I take the new one and drag it out, and pull it like that, and maybe just use some CA thin. Now this is an example of how this stretches, eh? Am I Canadian or something? Anyway, I think I'm just gonna cut it right there, and I won't try to remove this piece of easy line that's against the ring. I'll probably just end up making a mess. No, I'd like to use this because it's so sharp. Maybe I'm going to have to try and hook into it from the other side somehow. Oh, very carefully not to break anything off. All I want to do is be able to put pressure on there. Okay, pull from one side and press from the other. Oh, it's not going. My angle isn't quite right here. I almost got it. You can see where it's kind of shredding there. And I don't want it to shred. Yes, I know the fingernail scissors would be really good here, but I just don't have a pair. Maybe I'll just swallow my pride and let's see, maybe. No, that's not going to work. I got it. Okay. It'd be nice if I could get rid of this little... It's kind of... I think it's impregnated with CA glue. Now, my thinking is that when I run the line up, I'm not going to readjust the camera. I'm just going to go ahead and do it here. Okay, now the line has to... Yeah, sorry if I'm getting my big fingers in there. Now this has to come through like this. Just grab it on the end. Okay, now this stretches incredibly. Now if I could just lay it alongside of the original line and put a little bit of CA thin right there. I'm going to reposition here and see if I can get myself a better steady rest going. Okay, this is CA thin. Come on, adhere. I can just hold it in the right place. Now, is it going to stick there when I let go? Yes. Now you can see there where the end of it, when I let go, it sort of curled around, and I don't know if I can cut that off. Yeah, it kind of did. When you're zoomed in with the macro lens, you see all the little imperfections. But when you're backed up a little bit, you don't really notice it. It all sort of looks normal. Anyway, these aren't touching anymore. Well, it is if I go like that. That's probably about 0.5 millimeter apart. Just enough. Maybe 1 millimeter. From your perspective, you can't see it, but if you look at it from the front or the back or the top, then you can see that they're separated. In the center of your screen, you should be able to see my mouse pointer. I know it's not very big, but if I increase the size of it, it does not work well with the screen recorder for some reason. So we'll just have to take it the way it is. We have done S and T. Let's try and do V, as in Victor. And it runs from the base of this yard arm right here up to the end of this yard arm right here. And there are 2 V's, one on each side, mirror image to each other. Let's go back to the model and see what it looks like for real. We want to go from the base of this yard arm right here up to the end of this one right here. And I think we'll fasten this end first. I'll readjust my lighting and put on the macro lens. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to now grab it from underneath and just sort of pull it like this, and then nip off this part right here, the excess, from the other side later. At least that's the plan for right now. Okay, what I've done is I've adjusted it so that there's a little bit of tension on the line going up to the other yard arm. And I'm just going to loop it around like that. Now if I can get myself just a little bit of CA thin on here. That was more than I had intended, but nothing I can do about it now. Now, can I let go of that? Is it going to hold? It appears that it has. Okay, now later, I'll just wait a few minutes here and then I'll cut this loose end off. Okay, I'm going to stretch this out taut. And can I get my razor blade cutter in there without accidentally cutting off the wrong one? There, got it. Now one of these letter V's has another line coming down off of it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of tension on. Like, don't go panicking, it'll stretch out, they say, 7 times longer than, than it is. So in other words, they say it's got a 700% stretch. This easy line is wonderful stuff. I'm sure glad that Tony told us about it. I'm even more glad that he sent it to us for free. Anyway, I think I'm going to have to call today's video quits. It's getting on here this afternoon in Winnipeg, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow. We'll get this glued on. Same on the other side. We're getting there. Thanks for watching, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.